Call the meeting to order. All rise. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Evening, folks. I'm going to kick this off. Question 1, draft ballot. To see if the town will utilize $65,000 from the transfer station reserve account for the first of a 5-year purchase payment on a new roll-off truck for the transportation of waste. Payments by year. Year 2, $45,283 through year 5, same amount. Chad Pine will give a brief PowerPoint.
Okay, once we go through this, please wait at the end, and then I'll answer any questions you may have. For those who don't know what a roll-off truck looks like, this is what a roll-off truck looks like. It picks up the canisters, takes them to where they need to be done and empty, and then brings it back to the transfer station. Our current commercial options are CIA or North County Incinerator. Here are some of the few issues with commercial hauling we're having. Sometimes their trucks have been known to break down, or they're not showing up when we're requesting them to come down and empty our containers. So if they don't come down and empty the containers, we can go into a day when the transfer dump is open, and they have 1 or 2 containers sitting there instead of having them empty, so we can dispose of our trash and stuff. Price continues to increase. Right now, Conway Incinerator is charging us $700 per trip. CIA is charging us $247 per trip, but they hit us on the other end on the tipping fees. This is the proper time to look at buying our own trucks in order to save cost and money. Truck payments will be made from the transfer station reserve account, taking $65,000 out for a down payment of the reserve account, and then using $45,000 for an annual payment out of the same account for 5 years for a total of $246,132.32. As of right now, this is the truck that we started looking at. This truck is still valid as of right now. I did find out today that there have been a couple of people that have been looking at it. But that's the truck we were looking at and we priced out originally. Total truck expense per year, insurance payments would be $172 a month. Maintenance is estimated at $541 a month. Fuel estimated $1,250 a month. Total monthly expense $1,963. Why the town needs a new public works employee? Currently, we only have 2.5 men. Cliff is the head of public works, but he may not be on the job all the time because he may be looking at another job or talking to contractors or whatever. So technically, he's only considered half man. Sorry, Cliff. The town would save an estimate of $800 a month hauling its own trash. The department needs an additional position to help cover vacation, 6 days, and overall manpower. Additional public works employee. The hourly pay week, $962. Then you take out the insurance, which is $325, FICA, FML, and retirement. Weekly expense, monthly expense, and then the annual expense goes out to $72,540. Job description would be transportation of trash, snow plowing, road maintenance, ground maintenance, all around public works. He would not be a transfer station worker, he would be a public works worker, so he would do whatever Cliff told him to do at the time. Some of you might have picked up the spreadsheets. On average, hold on, estimated, if we stay with North Conway Incinerator, we're going to pay $241,548.01. If we go with CIA, we're going to pay $244,550. $123.30. If we had our own truck, we would pay $185,505.53. On the bottom part of the handout, it shows the first year where we take the $65,000 out to put down on the truck and the new employee. And we're going to save versus using North Conway Incinerator $32,000 versus CIA would be $36,000 in the first 6 months. Because if everybody okays the truck in November, by the time we buy the truck in December, and then we get an employee hired maybe by January, you're talking 6 months worth of pay that we're going to use. The second box is year 2 through 5. So you have an annual truck payment of $45,281. You have the manpower, which is $72,33.78. So in overall savings, if we were hauling our own truck, we'd be saving $56,000 versus North Conway Incinerator and $59,000 versus CIA. That's the money that we keep in the town. We're not paying the town. Year 6, the truck payment that we were making goes back into the transfer station account. And the money we're still saving, 56 to 58. That could be increased because everybody knows each year prices go up. So that would be if it stayed at $700 per North Conway Incinerator and $247 for CIA. But in years it can go up every year. So we're saving a lot of money. Now, I was asked by a taxpayer, I don't know the gentleman's name, I can't remember, if we look at other trucks, because our saying that we still have is still valid. Yes, when the truck committee started looking at trucks, we looked at trucks everywhere. Anywhere from North Carolina, Florida, Chicago, Wisconsin, California, they range between $250,000 to $300,000. That didn't include sending someone out either to bring the truck back with us or pay for shipping. That was just to buy the truck. As of right now, I did some more looking today. There are 6 trucks available in the state of Maine. They're at one dealership. They range from $245,000 up to $300,000. They are 2025s and 2026 trucks. They have one that's a 2007, but it's way too old for our needs. So, yes, we did scout around, we did look at other trucks, but this one is in Maine, it's local, that's why we're trying to stick to in Maine truck, because it's easier and faster. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, somebody asked last week, if the truck breaks down, what do we do?
If the truck breaks down, we call either Ryder, Penske, or one of the person that we bought the truck from and get a rental truck from them.
We'd be able to rent a truck for Freightliner?
I don't think
I don't have any stock.
Yeah, Freightliner, if they bring the truck in, they do have ones that they will loan out. At least in my experience of being over the road, that has happened. But I don't know if this dealer, if they do that. I'm just saying you can go to Ryder or Penske and rent a roll-off truck right now.
So we know Ryder or Penske does keep money.
There are trucks that per rent.
Who do we contact in Ryder or Penske to find out? Did someone check with them that they would be available?
I looked online and they say that they have them, so I'm going by what they say online. Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Have we placed a deposit on the truck yet?
No, we have not.
So it says $65,000 deposit, truck down payment.
That's what it would be for the person, if
Okay,
the town agrees to buy the truck, that's the price that we have to put down to purchase the truck. That's the first year's payment.
So what's the year of the truck we're looking at?
2025.
That's a 20, and it's been on the lot for how long?
Well, we started looking at it in July, so I know it's better than that one.
Since last September, that's it.
Huh?
I think since September of last year.
Yeah, last year.
So it's been sitting for a year already?
Nobody bought it.
Nobody bought it. But when I checked on it today, they had 2 people looking at it. That's why I questioned to see if they had any other ones, and they do. They have 2 more 2025, one more 2025, which is a tri-axle versus a tandem. And then they have 3 2026s. 2 are tandems and 1 is a tri-axle.
How much were the 2026s?
They range from 265,000
Holy cow.
to 300,000.
So how have they kept this truck for so long?
Because nobody's
It's such
done
a big
it.
deal, why?
It's a deal, but no one, as we are investigating trucks, other towns are doing the same thing, but nobody's bought it yet. They've gone down, they've looked at it, and it's gonna be first come, first served, whoever gets the town to agree to buy it. Yes, ma'am.
Just curious, who's the dealership you're buying it from?
Freightliner,
Oh, okay.
down in West.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, I got like 6 questions.
Okay.
I basically want yes or no. I don't want an explanation.
Okay.
I'm just trying to be fair to everyone. So you said we did get other prices for the truck.
Yes.
In the region 250 to 260 to whatever, right?
The other prices
They looked all over the country for
looked
these
all
trucks.
over the country. They range from 215 to 300,000.
Perfect. So we're looking at buying a truck for 246, correct?
Yes.
Did anybody actually really, you're buying this in Westbrook, right?
Yep.
There's 5 dealers in Westbrook that sell trucks. Did you go to any of them?
No, we just went to the one that carries it. I did.
No, they will build it, anybody will build you a truck.
Hold on. I
This
did.
one, yes or no, yes or no?
Yes,
I don't
I
want-
did. No.
Yes, you did?
I did check with other dealers that were building trucks.
Yeah.
They have to have the truck on the lot now.
But it doesn't matter if they have the truck or not, because we don't have the employee to run the truck. I think we put the cart before the horse right now. Because if we buy a truck right now, and these guys are all plowing for freaking 2 days straight, who's gonna haul the garbage?
I understand that. I agree. with you.
I know.
But if we wait to buy the truck at a later date, you're talking more money.
We are?
Yeah.
All right, so my next question is, does the price of this truck include taxes, dock fees, and everything?
The
And
final price, which was $246,000.
yeah, that's everything, with the cables, with the winch, the whole 9 yards.
Everything.
Completely set up, pull it and go.
Yeah.
Okay? Winch, let me see. Okay, now, the question is, everybody in this room, all right, I know you guys didn't look for shit, all right, I'm being honest. Who here would spend $245,000 to buy something and not really go try to find another truck locally? Who?
Okay.
Would you?
Don't say I didn't look.
You didn't.
Yes, we did. The truck we investigated.
Listen, stop yelling.
You started yelling late.
The meeting will be in order.
Sorry.
Okay, my problem is, I made one phone call yesterday. Called O'Connor's, asked them how much a truck will cost to build, and get it in the first quarter of next year. It was freaking $211 for the same freaking truck. I gave them the specs, everything, the same truck. So you're gonna tell me you did your due diligence? That's freaking that's one truck payment less.
I just called O'Connor's today, and they gave me a price of $265 to start.
I got it right here in front of me, guy.
And so did I.
Because, you know why? I'm not gonna say nothing. That's it. That's the price I got. If anybody in this room thinks we spend $245 on a truck, without even trying, I got a price of $211 already. And that's without even trying to get him to beat up on the price to get it down lower.
Tom, Vinny, did we or did we not price out other trucks?
Yeah, I was on the truck committee. I called different places in Maine.
Yeah.
See what the prices were. So, yeah, and other members on the committee called different places and looked for used ones also.
Yep.
So we looked for used, new, within Maine. I didn't go out of the state, I don't people go out of the state.
Exactly. But we did check out our dealership and got different prices.
Yeah, I called dealerships in Northern Maine and I think a couple of them, yeah. But, it would have had to be audited. They didn't have them in stock.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the way it is with a custom truck. Or any vehicle you buy that's custom, you probably have to audit. I don't know the workings the chassis on the lot, and then you decide what you want to put on it. But if you want to roll off or something like that, and they did have a tri-axle roll off down there, and it was ordered for a company in Littleton, New Hampshire,
Right.
and I guess they haul something bigger and heavier, that's why they needed a tri-axle. So,
That's all.
that's when I looked, and I forgot what it was, you did it probably in the spring of this year, they had those two, and,
Okay.
yeah. But, my feeling is, you know, I think it's a good idea, but I think maybe we should wait a year, because I think there's more research we should do on it. It's to get established, so we can walk in, I mean, it's a whole new project we're taking. It's not an extension of what we're doing, so I think there's a learning curve and everything else with it. So, my opinion, and that wasn't the committee's opinion, I was one vote that way. And I just feel, I'm not against doing it at all, but I'm against doing it at this point because, like, we need stuff done in town, and, you know, we probably should get the new employee and then get the truck later on. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make one point.
Yep.
I'm 100% in getting a truck to haul our own garbage. I want to make that clear. 100% I want us to get this truck. But I honestly think whatever you guys did, you didn't do due diligence. You guys did not try to find the best deal you could find.
May I ask a question?
Hold on. Yes, sir.
I applaud your detail and your presentation. Thank you very much. I disagree. I believe that we should wait on this truck because of what Tracy just mentioned, and the fact that you should never rush a $300,000 item. We should look farther, and I agree with you. We should look farther. We should look more in detail. I don't disagree with buying local, but if we could find a truck in LA for $20,000 less, I don't know if it's LA or not,
Okay.
I will drive and bring it back.
No problem. Okay. If we do that, which the select board doesn't have a problem, they'll go with the best truck. They don't have a problem with it. But you have to stop and remember, if it's out in LA, you have to pay someone to go out and drive it back, or you have to pay and have it shipped to you.
As you know, as you may know, there are companies that will do that for you at a very reasonable price to drive it from there to here. All I'm saying is, for that kind of money, we should do more research and make sure that this is the right truck. And Tracy just brought up, and I didn't know this was coming, Tracy just brought up an example that maybe he's right. I don't know if he's right or not, but maybe he is. So there seems to be more research needed before we spend $300,000 on a truck. That's my comment.
That,
I have a question for Tracy.
Go ahead.
Why aren't you on the truck committee?
Because I don't want to be involved in this. Because this is why. They ran one guy off because he didn't agree with what was going on. Listen, I'm not talking to you. I don't want to talk to you at all. Okay? I did it on my own. I gave him a price. That's all I can do. I want the truck. That's all I'm saying. But I don't want to pay. But the price I just gave him would take 2 years of maintenance out of it, or almost one full truck payment out of it, and pay it off in 4 years instead of 5. That's all I gotta say.
I just want to ask a couple questions, because I don't understand this stuff very well. How many trips a week, if we were doing our own truck, would we be making to pick up trash?
5 to 7.
So 7 trips to
No,
where?
I said 5 to 7.
Well, 5 to 7, but to where?
Either Cadbury or Portland.
That's Berlin.
Berlin, Cadbury, yeah, Cadbury, New
So
Hampshire.
12, that's why.
Cadbury is
it's
the name of the
12.50
place.
per week.
Berlin.
Per week.
How?
That's why the amount was 1,250 for fuel.
Right.
Because it would be that many times.
Yeah, you're figuring if we had 3 containers, if they're taking it, either way we go, it's an hour trip. So it's an hour up, hour back, hour up, hour back.
And then what's the frozen thing? Frozen trash. What's that all about?
During the winter, our trash tends to get frozen in the containers. So Maine will refuse to load because they can't get it out. So we take it to Carberry because they'll reach in and dig it out. Am I right on that? Yeah.
Eco Maine will not, they'll refuse the entire load.
Yes, ma'am.
It is the exact same truck I have a 17-page spec sheet I can email to anybody that wants it.
Took the specs that I gave him.
But the pliers said they weren't sure, they couldn't see that that truck had the winch with it. They looked it up with the truck and it doesn't say that there's a winch with it.
This truck was inspected by Benny, it was inspected by Cliff, we went down and looked at it. Everything is included in this truck, it's ready to go. So Benny Leonard went down and looked at it, and Cliff, the public works director, went down and looked at it.
Well, if you're interested, I can email you the spec sheet.
I understand. Terry?
So if we wait on the truck, aren't we in the midst of having to make a decision about signing a three-year contract on our trash?
It's part, the select board will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a year-by-year contract that they sign. And as of right now, I don't know if we're supposed to sign a contract or not. Right now, we're doing it by month. The select board would have to answer that question better than I.
I can answer that question. It's actually a 2-year contract, and I called the company and talked to the owner, and they agreed that they would at least like 1-year contract. And then if we was to buy a truck and get going on our own within that year, they would expect to pay it. In other words, they want to be guaranteed 1 year.
So what's
And that was the one, Frank, for $700 a load?
Right.
So we would be paying $700 a load for anything within that year. If we got our own truck, we would still be under contract for them to pay off that year's worth of haul.
Well, no, I don't think they would expect you to pay out the whole year, but she would want some sort of buyout, she said. In other words, if we only use this, let's say for 2 months, you're not gonna expect us to pay the average of $700 a trip for the rest of the year. It would be, what, it would be some kind of settlement.
Because it could be up to like $3,000 a week for 5 loads at $700 a load.
Yeah. Contract $700 lower right now.
So $3,000 a week.
35.
Over, and then over several months, that's gonna add up to an awful lot of money. If we have to settle on a contract that we have to sign while we're sitting around waiting to buy a truck. Am I thinking of this the right way?
Well, if I would dare say if we wait to buy the truck, we're gonna be in a contract for a year. So we're gonna be paying $700 a trip for this year.
Which, just, it's a contract, but they can come in at any minute, right, at any time, and say, diesel price went up, so your fees are going up. Just because we signed the contract, it's not a done deal for $700. They can adjust it anytime they want. Yes.
What's the life expectancy of this truck? And did your spreadsheet, I apologize, I didn't read it full yet, address the maintenance?
Yes, it did address the maintenance. The life of the truck, we're expecting 15 to 20 years for what it's being used for.
So in 15 years, we need another truck.
Maybe.
Maybe. Could go longer.
It could go shorter. I'm not a pessimist, I'm just saying.
Right.
So we just gotta keep that in mind. My truck, I hope lasts 30. But I can't afford another.
That's why you brought it up.
Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, she asked on the trips, I think it's 270 trips a year. I think that's one way to say that, I said they do. Plus, we'd still have CIA haul out metal, right? No matter if we haul our own,
Right.
would CIA still haul the metal,
No, we can all run over to
would
them.
we haul the metal too,
Yeah.
or?
Yeah.
The dumpster.
Yeah, I didn't know if that would be-
That was it. Even though they're paying us for the metal, we're paying them to truck it. So,
Yeah, the hauling, yeah.
so we might as well truck it and
Yeah.
Get
get
something out.
And it would be a 1-year contract with Conway Center if they did it, but when CIA presented a contract, And Conway Incinerator presented what they do with South Hampton when I was on the meeting, a committee. CIA made the stipulation that they might have to go up if the fuel goes up, but I don't think Conway Incinerator said that on their presentation.
They
I think it
probably
was the
just,
CIA.
they
Conway Incinerator has stuck us with a surcharge for fuel before when it went up.
But they didn't have a contract.
They did it.
We just went once a month, but a contract would lock them in.
No.
If they wanted to
No,
agree to
no,
that.
no.
I mean, they might not agree to that, but, you know, it's all what you want to put in the contract.
They will word the contract that benefits them.
Well, anybody would, yeah.
Right.
Every good state business, yeah.
But anybody else? Tom?
The preference gentleman put the paper on the table, how does it spec out compared to the one we were looking at?
It's the exact same chart. He went and looked at the chart there, and Tracy will email you guys the whole thing to it, so it's the same chart.
Is it down there now all set up?
No, it's got first quarter next year, but that was the next thing I was gonna say. We don't have an employee yet to drive it. We need to get going and get an employee started working, then we get the chart. I want the chart, I want you guys to understand that. But I have a question for you guys, you three. You guys are all right with us spending this money to buy this truck. When we know, without even trying, I found another truck for 30 plus less.
Well,
How do you know what I'm all right with?
I know, I'm asking you, I just want you to answer whether or not you're all right with that.
I haven't decided because
No, that's fine, but I'm just, so hopefully we can get a straight answer from all of you at some point.
See, we had a truck committee, right? We're here to listen and watch, just like
Okay, then just
you.
we're good. We're good, Brian.
Okay?
We're good. I got you, brother. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you in any way.
You're not
I'm truly
upset me,
sorry,
man.
man. Truly sorry.
I also agree, I mean, I think the truck is a good idea, quote unquote. But I have another question though. You're talking about driving to Portland 5 times a week. I'm assuming that's 100 miles a day.
Right.
So 500 miles a week, 250,000 a year. What are the tires cost on this thing after 1 year that we have to replace the tires? I'm just thinking out loud because I'm concerned with the maintenance on this truck.
The maintenance, they've got it.
I mean, you say $541. I took my little pickup in the other day, it cost me $2,000. I mean, I'm just concerned with the long-term maintenance
But most of
and
the
cost
maintenance,
of this truck.
most of the maintenance will be done by public works, unless it's a computer issue or whatever. But if it's basic oil change, basic filters, the public works part will take it. If we need brakes, the public works.
Is that the 541 that's being charged to Public Works? Or is that above and beyond Public Works cost?
Well, we don't have a truck, so we haven't budgeted for it. So, how would we?
Well, where are you gonna take it from?
We need to get the number.
Right, where did,
I mean, it's gotta come from somewhere if we do buy the truck.
Right, currently in the maintenance line for the public works.
Okay.
But we're only looking at 6 months worth, so brand new truck, you're not putting, 10 brand new tires on a brand new truck.
I absolutely agree with that.
The brakes should be good for at least the first year to 2 years, the notch gets pretty nasty. So general maintenance, the first year on a new truck really shouldn't be an exponential charge to what we have in Public Works now.
I mean,
And you
tires
gotta
and
remember-
budget.
Well, you gotta remember that at this time, by the time the vote this happens, we get a truck. Half of the fiscal year is already gone. We're already working on the next fiscal year's budget already. Now, it will change depending upon vote of this ballot if we're adding to the maintenance line for Public Works. But we don't right now. I would be probably pretty pissed off whoever the manufacturer of the truck was, that in, 20,000 miles, we're buying 10 tires. It needs to go back to where it came from, and they need to fix it. Because it should be under warranty. If the brakes are out that fast, yeah, something's wrong.
I definitely agree, I'm just concerned. The 5-year plan, 10-year plan, the maintenance long-term on the truck.
So this truck, that the one we're looking at right now, that's got a 5-year warranty
Chad.
Joe, sorry, Joe.
That's all right. I have 5 questions if I can remember them.
Yep.
So just taking a look at this sheet up here, PowerPoint presentation, can it be set up so that at 541, I'm just using that as an example, per month, which comes to over $6,000 a year, can that be set up as a separate, and this is really a question for the select board, can that be set up as a line item that rolls over each year so that maintenance fund, remember in the first couple of years, maintenance should be minimal, but in years to come, it's going to be more expensive, and it would be nice to be able to carry that amount forward each year rather than hitting the taxpayers up with, for more money. Can that be done?
In the public works budget, it's already a rollover account. The entire budget rolls over every year.
Okay, thank you. The $211,000 to $300,000, is that for new trucks or used trucks?
That was for, some were used, 2022s, 2023s, and some were new. So we looked at used, we didn't go any older than 2022, because we didn't want to get into somebody else's headache, because if they're selling it, there's a problem if it's 2019. So they either war it or beat the hell out of it. So we went back as far as 2022s to try and stay current and maybe have some type of warranty on it. Off to brand new.
So, to Doug's point, if, we found a new truck wherever in the United States, and it was $225,000, I mean, I know that there's a break point where, it wouldn't be worth going to get it, but maybe $225,000, although, what Tracy presented, that certainly needs to be looked at. It would probably pay somebody to go out and get the truck and bring it back.
Again,
There's got to be a break point.
right, but again, that would be up to the select board's decision. All the truck committee did was gather information and present it to them. And yes, we concentrate more on this truck? Yes, we did. But if you look at other trucks, yes, we did. And I'm nothing against you, I'm not.
I'm good.
The guy that you said that we pushed out, no, we did not. He never signed up to be on the truck committee. He said he wanted to be, but he was looking. Oh, but I need to explain it.
Not for me. You're good. You said you do nothing, we're good.
Okay, so my next question is, would there be any reason we would need a tri-axle?
No.
Carry that much weight at any time, where we would need a tri-axle?
We're averaging six ton per container.
Okay.
That's not including the container. It's 6 ton worth of trash.
Yep.
Or recyclables.
So now here comes, the, pessimist in me, if you want to say that. So this gets presented to the owner, to the taxpayers, to the voters, and they vote for it. And I'm for it. I'm for a new truck. I'm for us hauling our own trash. But then we go to buy that truck in Westbrook or wherever it is, and it's common. So now we have a whole other set of figures, but the voters already voted on a specific amount. So
They voted that, the amount that we're asking for is what the select board picked. And so if the truck does go, and Tracy's truck happens to come in at $215,000, the money's already been approved, so then we can go to that number.
Okay, my last question is, if we wait a year, there's some things to consider. Price of the truck going up, a new truck going up.
Yep.
And number 2, right now, based on your PowerPoint presentation, it looks like we're going to pay $45,000 more. And let's just say that truck's available in a year. And you showed, the committee showed $45,000 savings. That $45,000 savings for the first year, first 12 months, goes out the window. So we're spending that because of what we're going to have to pay CIA or North Conway or whomever.
Sure.
So that's an important thing to take into consideration. Tracy found a truck that works out. that's terrific. And once again, it's a nice sign of the taxpayer, like going out on their own and a voter going out on their own and finding something, which is for the benefit of all of us.
Right.
Because whatever committees I'm on, if somebody, brought something up that we, didn't find out, that's good. That's a plus. So, those are my questions.
Yes, we do.
So, what would happen if we voted to approve the truck, but then the taxpayer said no public works employee?
Then it doesn't benefit us to get the truck. Because we don't approve the employee.
So they have to go together.
They have to go together because you're down to 2.5 workers now.
Right.
And then, like Tracy said, what happens if everybody's out plowing and we need a dumpster empty? We can't pull one of the plow trucks to go into the truck.
So if we didn't buy the truck and we didn't haul our own trash, would we be asking for a full-time public works employee or a part-time public works employee?
That would be up to the taxpayers. Do we need another public worker? Yes, we do.
Regardless.
Regardless, we could use it, yes. But that, again, is up to the taxpayers whether or not they want to do it. If they had if Public Works had another employee, that would help. You could have 3 people on the job, or you could have 2 people on this job, and somebody over on this job. So yes, it would be beneficial.
How many hours a week would that public works employee be working hauling trash?
Okay, if we hire the public works person, that gives 4 people who can haul that trash. That guy is not just specifically hauling the trash. That gives Cliff's options on who's going to haul the trash.
So they don't need special licenses that they don't already have?
They already have it. They have to have them to drive the dump trucks and stuff. They have to have at least a Class B license. Sonia.
The 5-year warranty, how many miles is that? Because it's and/or, correct?
Yes, and I can't answer that. I do not know. I know that there's a 5-year warranty, but I can't tell you on how many miles it is. Usually, I'm going to say on a big truck, it's like 500,000 miles.
That's not common.
So that's my best guess I can give you. Vin?
Yeah, my feeling again is that if we should go for something, it should be the Public Works employee. I mean, the Public Works Department this year has had so many extra projects other than the roads. I mean, they had to put sign, they did the front of the building, they put poured concrete, they worked on the field. Safety Building Committee wants them to dig test holes. And we've got out of 6 employees, full and part-time. I think there's only maybe one that's under 60, I'm not sure. But just visually, and I hate to be that way, but
You're
but
correct.
I think there's only one that might be under 60, so I think our priority should be the employee before the truck, and then get that established, have him help catch up on the stuff the Public Works wouldn't do because of all the extra projects they had to do, and then go for a truck next year.
Well, okay, you can do that. Or even what Tracy brought up, this truck here, if they check into it and it meets the specs that they're requiring, and it is for $211,000, it ain't going to be ready until, say, April. So we can still buy the truck, and then in April it'll be ready to go, but we're still under contract with either CIA or Conway Incinerator. So then we have to buy it out to get out from underneath it. So is it going to cost us more money, or is it going to save us money?
Well, the CIA, the Conway Incinerator, we've always treated us as the years, like Rick said last week, and I talked to Kathy, and, they like us. I mean, they're local, and they have a good deal. I don't think they would take a cheer on it. Yeah, so I don't think they would, try to take advantage of it. They seem like reasonable people, and they're not hedge fund groups looking for just profits. They're there, they've been always helpful to us.
But
So,
again,
I think for a year, we wait, but anyway, go ahead.
Could you email that information on that truck?
And the other thing, Ricky, is that was price without taxes texted me after with the taxes, it's too low. It done.
Just if you could email.
We don't pay taxes.
All right, then, get it for that price right there, right? Sold.
Works for me.
So the question I'd like to ask everybody is, you brought this up, and it was all based on the price of the truck.
No.
No, let me finish, please. Brought up very good points. You know, you found this truck by calling somebody. I take it you've done business there before.
No. I never bought a big truck in my life.
Not a big truck, but have you bought from O'Connor?
No, never. I drive Fords, dude.
Smart man.
I know. I've never done business with O'Connors.
There's no reason why, even with the approved pricing here in the ballot, this draft ballot, that if you would come in and we contacted these guys, and like you said, the first order, which should be no later than March 30th.
Yeah, that he already said it'd probably be earlier, but.
Well, I'm just saying, it would be just to,
Yep,
you know,
by
no
April
later than
1st.
March 30th, that truck would be available and built, and we could get that kind of deal. This ballot question doesn't specifically state that we're going to spend the entire amount.
Yep.
It was what we came up with, and I believe it was in January or February that they came up with, that Western Star notified you on that truck that it was on the lot, not last year. So the truck has been sitting for a year. So we went with it because if everybody remembers correctly, we put it on the April 1st ballot.
Yep.
So after that, we had the town meeting in June. Because of the failed. We already put the ballot up, but it had already gone up to print.
Yep.
So it null and voided that vote, null and voided the article in the warrant. Okay? The taxpayers brought that up, not the select board. And that's why, with the taxpayers, majority of the taxpayers in the town meeting said, hey, we'd like to revisit this because we didn't know this much information. Great. So I made that deal with the taxpayers in an open town meeting and said, yeah, we'll revisit it again. I'll have something for November. But I want to point out, folks, I greatly appreciate that you took the time to do this.
I just made a phone call.
I'm sorry?
I just made a phone call. I didn't take any time.
But you took time out of your schedule, and you did this. You obviously had to take some time because it's not like you knew the specs on that Western Star down to the T.
No, because I got a
You see what I'm
spreadsheet
saying?
from Cliff.
But you see what I'm
He just gave me a
saying?
piece of
You
paper.
took some time.
Okay.
But this article doesn't state, folks, that we're buying the Western Star from down the Freightliner. Even if the vote was to go, and yes, we can opt to do this. And I'm going to point out, in the past, Public Works has done a very good job, just like you presented tonight. Hey, we can get a backhoe for $120,000. This was the quote. They brought the paperwork in. Okay, we put it to you taxpayers. They go, now that it's July 1st, hey, we'll take that backhoe because the money's there, we're approved for it, we're going to buy it. Hey man, we got a better deal for you. And we saved $38,000. It was the same exact machine. It had 7 hours put on it as a demo. Well, we saved that kind of money, yeah, we purchased it. So I don't want anybody to think that just because, folks, I've got time periods that I have to put this information out. And if something happens in between and we get a better deal, yeah, we're going to go for the better deal. That's why we're not putting, specifically, we're going to go to Freightliner of Maine in Westbrook in an article, because then it holds us to it, because yes, that is a vote. If we find a better deal, yeah, let's do that. I don't want anybody to think that we have to spend $246,000. And if we don't, the way this article is written, all the payments, all the money is coming out of the transfer station reserve account. Whatever's not expended on a new truck stays in the transfer station reserve. And you can look at it this way. Same thing, if we're gonna save that kind of money, 1 year's payment, 45,
Close to
283.
1 year's payment,
If
yeah.
we're close to that,
Or
say
maybe
40,000, we
it's
say $40,000, that drops 1 year's payment off of that. Doesn't matter how you look at it, 1 year, 5 year, it doesn't matter. The payments could be less, but it would be smart to pay faster so that it's done. And it is cheaper to do it this way with $1 buyout on a lease, folks, than it is for us to just take that change all one shot, just like that, and pay for it. Because now we have to go to you and ask you for money for operating expenses. So let's take it a little bit at a time. But I want everybody to please understand, I greatly appreciate
No, I know, I don't doubt you do.
but nothing's here saying that we're absolutely going to spend $246,000.
And I think that's all I was looking for, is clarity that we're not going to just buy this truck.
No.
Is that if something better came up, we could go with something else.
100%. If we can save some money,
Yeah.
no
that's
problem.
all I'm looking for.
I mean, this
That's the
is
reason I did it.
this is the same truck.
Yeah, it's the,
But
it is.
you got to look at the amount of time that's passed by too.
No, I know, I get it too, no, I get it, well.
I will turn it back over to you.
Yes, we do.
I just wanted to clarify, we're in is it a 1-year contract or a 3-year contract that we're signing now with CIA
We have.
Carl Incinerator,
and we're not calling it, yeah.
North Carolina Incinerator.
They gave us a 2-year contract to sign, but knowing what we were trying to do, I called, and we got it down, she said that she'd be willing to do 1 year. And knowing that it's only gonna be, assuming we get going by January, it's only gonna be half a year.
So when does it due to be signed again?
Well, she wants it signed now.
So it would effectively go from fall to fall. But we wouldn't even get this truck until, what, you said, March, April?
March or April, maybe sooner, depending on how fast they put it together.
See how much it is for a Penske truck in the meantime?
To rent one,
Yeah.
I honestly never went there to check it out. I do not know. I can get the truck committee back together, because we're still around, and check in to see what it would be to rent a truck versus what we are paying it out. I don't know if we would have a savings on that or not.
Who's the manufacturer of the truck that we're bringing forward?
Western Star, same make
Same
model,
Western Star.
same truck.
Same exact model.
Same truck.
Yes, sir.
That's correct. I've been here for 20 years. Not a mathematics major, but can you explain this comparison spreadsheet? Why isn't the cost of the truck actually added in?
Because the cost of the truck is coming out of the transfer reserve account.
That's not where it comes from. It's all coming from taxpayers' money.
Incorrect.
It is.
It is. The transfer, I'll explain to you. The transfer station reserve account, the only monies that go into the transfer station reserve account are the revenue, the actual revenues that the transfer station receives. So you as a taxpayer, your tax bill does not put any money into the transfer station reserve account.
Have
The
they
revenue-
paid for their?
The revenue, yes, the things that are dumped and dropped off, tires, the electronics,
Refrigerator.
demolition, all that, that's revenue that is generated, averages about 60,000 a year, historically. That's why it's not in there, because it's not a raise and appropriate with taxpayer dollars, it's from revenue that's being received there.
Well, historically, then what do we use that money for? And if we use it for the truck, what are we not going to be able to pay for out of that account?
Well, we just, historically, like we did the new containers. We replaced the 20-year-old compactors that we have. So we got some really good longevity out of those. Been a while, quite a while ago, we did maybe 2-phase to 3-phase, or 3-phase to 2-phase. That was a board change, whatever, that was done. But we don't typically dump a lot of money per year into maintenance. We own all of our own containers, they're all pretty much new in the last 2 years. I think the majority of them were this year, which is saving us a rental fee with North Carolina Incinerator, by the way, at $1.50 a month per times 4. So, yeah, it's not a raise and appropriate, it's not, the taxpayers, unless you're going down there and dropping stuff off and paying out of your pocket, it's not a raise and appropriate article.
Tom?
Well, I got a question. When you drop off a tire at the dump, they charge you a fee. When those tires get disposed of, don't they have to pay to get them?
Yes.
Yeah. So, what revenue do they make from that tire?
Want me to answer that? As of right now, they don't make any revenue, because you're disposing the tire for $3. They're paying $5 to get rid of it.
Yeah, volumes went up, the company that picks up changed their rates, so I think it was the last one or two times they picked up, the rate change, and we just spoke about it last night at the session.
So what are they selling that actually generates that income?
Demo's a big one. Yep. Demo brings a lot.
Refrigerators, air conditioners, TVs, anything I think over.
But they have to pay to get rid of them.
Right, we have, you or I, when we go in, we have to pay to get rid of it.
Yes, and then what do? Do they get someone to come and take the freon out of the refrigerators? That's what they do. And then they have to pay that person. And then the white goods go somewhere.
That goes to CIA. Yep. And if it jumps up, you get a little, if it's not, you get money.
Right.
Then that generates a little money?
Right. The metal dumpster actually got filled 2 weeks ago in 3 days. It was empty and it was filled in 3 days. Crazy, people get ready for winter, pick it up, and you know, the typical fall, oh shit, snow coming. So, we see a rise in spring and in fall with trash. It's pretty consistent throughout the summer, but we have, it's more now than it has been historically. Transfer station is sending out 2 to 3 every 2 days. No question.
Yeah, to follow up with this fellow's question, the money in the transfer station account is taxpayer money. It's collected for what we collect. As the same as the excise tax is collected, it's taxpayer money. As the fee to the registrar is collected, it's taxpayer money. And when there's an exorbitant excess in the transfer station account, and we have no major purchases to make, we can take that money and give it back to the taxpayer in the form of not raising and granting money for the transfer station account. Instead of granting and raising so much money for the transfer station account expenses, we can take it out of the transfer station surplus. Now, that's on that end of it. And I don't see why, and that he says, no matter what, when you do a spreadsheet, when we're spending money, whether it's an estimated theoretical spending or an actual spending, we're spending that $68,000. Make no doubt about it. Wherever it comes from, we're spending $68,000. And we're going to spend $45,000 a year. And that's what we're going to do. I don't care where it comes from. I know where it comes from. It's coming from the taxpayers' money in your account. So he's got a valid point. I mean, we're spending that money. And if I go to the grocery store, they don't care which pocket I take it out of when I pay them for the groceries. I get whatever I pay them, whatever pocket, that's what I pay. And that's what's going to happen with the truck. It's a cost. It's that simple. It's a cost for the price.
Penny, nobody said this. Nope. I want to be perfectly clear, because this is like the third time this has been brought up. Folks, every penny that comes to the town is taxpayer dollars. Nobody said that it wasn't. Nobody said it's not taxpayer money. Every dime is taxpayer money. It's all taxpayers. Nobody is ever insinuating that it's not taxpayer dollars. For this PowerPoint, the reason that it was not included isn't because it's not taxpayer dollars, folks. It's because we're utilizing a historical and a monthly revenue that is not raised and appropriated through the tax process to fund that account. So that's why we did it. Okay? My apologies to anybody. I'm not taking your tax dollars. Every penny that comes into the town is tax dollars. We know that. Okay? My apologies. which has a profound effect on your mill rate. We're using money that comes in that doesn't cost the taxpayer in a tax position. So my apologies to anybody on that topic.
Okay, Terry.
So hauling our own trash means that we would have to raise and appropriate less money in future years because we're hauling it ourselves, we're not paying someone else to do so.
Yes,
Okay.
Joe.
So just to reinforce that point, we're spending money to save money. And if we didn't do that, then we would have to charge the taxpayers more for that extra $45,000 that we're going to be paying to North Conway or CIA or whomever, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Like Joseph, that's the whole point of this. The presentation is about trying to save the town money. And buying the truck will save us money over time. And the truck ought to last 15 years. In 15 years, you'll have less than 500,000 miles on it. I know some of these trucks, I've got friends that have them. 600,000, 700,000 miles is not uncommon if you take care of it.
Correct.
So it's a good, if it saves money each year, and the first 5 years or 4 years, depending on how you pay for it, is the years you have to put out some money. After that, it's really saving money.
Right, we're still saving money for every year, even if we're not making a truck payment. But at the end of the time the truck payment is paid off, the money that we're using to make the truck payment stays in the transfer reserve account, and we're still saving $50,000 a year for the taxpayers.
Well, my cousin's got a wheeler, and I've watched it, he bought a brand new one, all weight. And that truck has got 400 and something thousand miles on it. And on average, he spends $8,000 taking it to someplace and having it work on. He doesn't have public works to do the work. He hires all of it done. And that truck costs him about $8,000 a year to put on the road with 450,000 miles on it.
Are there grants available for something like that? Environmental grant or something? I mean, there's so many environmental grants out there, has anybody looked into that?
Joe, can I ask you a question? You've been doing a lot of the grants. Is there such a grant out there for that?
I don't know. Like, if somebody's interested in that, they can make phone calls to the state, the federal government, Susan Collins's office to find out if there's a grant out there for that. The grant that I know about is for the community block grant, and the enterprise grant is specifically for exterior work to make your town look better. And then the CEB grant is for environmental or climate, energy saving type projects.
Okay.
Those are the only ones I know.
Thank you. Anybody else have any more questions?
No more questions, I'd like to say something. I apologize for getting heated in here. If anybody was offended, I truly am sorry. And that's it. That's all I am. The people that know me.
It was a hot flash.
I want to thank the truck committee for all of the due diligence that you did do. It's great to get another price thrown in there, but I know all the work that you all put into it, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
And I'll apologize for being hot under the collar too. Trying to stay calm.
Perfect. We're on to the next one.
Okay.
Question 2.
Thank
See
you.
if the town will authorize 42,194.18 from general surplus for an additional public works employee for the remaining fiscal year ending on June 30, 2026. The amount of $72,332.78 will be added to next fiscal year's payroll article. We covered this pretty well in this PowerPoint. Thank you, Mr. Bryan.
Thank you.
Any questions on question 2? All right, question 3. To see if the town will utilize $16,000 out of the general surplus account for the public safety building escrow grant. The additional monies are required after a USDA grant audit. Any questions? All right, question 4. So the town approved use of the secret ballot voting process, which is currently used to elect the town's municipal officers for the approval of all warrant articles, including those involving the town budget. A yes vote in favor of this item would support having all voters cast ballots through the secret ballot voting process for all warrant articles beginning at the next annual town meeting, while a no vote in opposition would have the town continue to use the existing process of voting on warrant articles at an in-person town meeting. And we do have a slideshow for this. All right, open town meetings versus referendum. Brought to you by the lovely people of Brownfield Town Administration. What is an open town meeting? Traditional New England form of direct democracy. You come in, you manage, you argue, you spit on people, kick them, and then you make a vote. Eligible voters participate and communicate their vote. Articles can be amended during the meeting, and voting is by voice, hand, or written ballot. What is secret? A secret ballot referendum. Voters cast secret ballot. Go to the town office just like you vote for the officials and board members and committee members. This would be the same thing. It would just be a large ballot with all of the articles and budget requests. No public debate during the vote. There is the expectation to have a informational, or as it was stated Saturday, what did she call it? A debate, or she had a verb for it. But in other words, you went and you talk back and forth and try to figure it out. Informational with amendments, essentially. Articles are finalized before voting. This system is intended to prevent coercion, intimidation, and bribery by allowing voters to cast their ballots in complete privacy. So, features open town meeting versus referendum, in person by secret. Debate in open, not at the referendum vote. Voter turnout, open, often lower. Historically, in the town of Brownfield, 120-ish, 123, I think was the 10-year average. Higher with ballot, it's faster. They come in, there's no talking, they walk in, check, and they're on their way. Life is good. Transparency, very high transparency because you can ask the questions, you can get educated, you can amend it. Have that open discussion with ballot? Nope, doesn't happen. Accessibility, limited for the open town meeting. Some people can make it, some people can't. So, again, that's what voter turnout, often lower because the accessibility is limited. We got a 12-hour polling, 8 to 8 on the day of vote. So that's 12 hours that you can take 15 minutes out of your day, pop in, check them off, get your sticker, life is good. Pros of voting by secret ballot instead of at open town meeting. More people have the opportunity to vote. 30 days prior to the vote, absentee ballots are available. You can contact your elections officer, request an absentee ballot, which can be sent to you, correct, and you can vote. Whereas open town meeting, you have to attend. So, it can minimize the impact of special interest groups, i.e., in an open town meeting, you can have a group of individuals that they're just a race game to get their way, essentially. Orderly election process by the ballot, in the front door, out the back door, quick stop in between, pen or a pencil, and you're doing your thing. Next, please. Cons of voting goes against tradition. Believe it or not, New England has a very, very, very deep-rooted tradition on a lot of things. We hear it quite often. Well, that's the way they used to do it. We know. Budget process starts much early in the fiscal year and may result in an inaccurate proposed budget. The taxpayers need to understand that we are on our fiscal year is July 1 to June 30. Typically, businesses, agencies will have their change in increase in pricing after January. By going to the ballot, we've actually started with the chair of the budget committee much earlier this year and condensed it. Because we have to go to print and do presentations and public hearings a lot earlier than what we are typically used to. So it condenses everything. It'll be a little rough the first year until we get into the groove of things. You know, change is always a good thing, you know, but you got to figure out the ins and outs and the quirks of it. Doesn't allow for free and open debate during elections. It is what it is, folks. You go to an informational, and I pose this question to many people. How do we do amendments? If 30 people show up, and Article 5 is there, and 15 say they want to amend it, and the other 15 say no, what's the select board do? Makes it very difficult. What's the next spot? It's either way to go or wrong. So it could be rough. Definitely, it's strictly yes or no. The cost to conduct the election is greater. And you'll see further in the PowerPoint that it is exponentially more. If the essential article fails, it would have a negative impact to the taxpayers of the town. To elaborate on that, if we go to a ballot and a article, budgetary article, is failed, it does not pass, it reverts back to the previous year's approved budget, okay? What can happen, though, is we have statutory requirement, contractual statutory requirements that we have to pay for. And if the taxpayers say no, now we don't have the money. Well, that money's coming from somewhere, folks, because we have to pay it. Yes, we ain't got a choice. So, that means we have to take it out of general service.
Out of reserve?
Correct. Yeah. The way it's supposed to work is the following year, we have to raise and appropriate that money to replace it into general surplus, plus the current operating cost. This could be a bad thing. With a ballot, you don't have the ability to explain that, especially if you don't go through the information. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Select board ultimately decides to amend an article or not. I gave that example, 15 and 15. Cost breakdown for open town meeting. $3 for posting the warrant. Ballots, printing and paper, $60. Now, the ballots, it's great because the ladies in the office, with the elections official, elections officer, they can print off 200 ballots. Right off the printer. 201 shows up. I got you. They go and print another 50. It's that easy. Just right down the hallway. We don't have to worry about running out of ballots. Easy enough to do. We pay a moderator. We pay a moderator $400. It was Norm Blake. Town cars $275. Ballot clerks and counters $180. Annual town report books $250. $897.99. And preparation cost $550. So we're an open town meeting $2365.99. All right. If we do the ballot per election machine per election process is $2,060 per election process. That can be 3 times a year, folks. The tabulated programming, every time we have an election process that ballots are going to be fed into that machine, it's a $370 charge for them to go down, plug in, verify the machine, verify that everything is good to go, so that we're hopefully, problem-free during that election process and counting. Price for 1,200 7-page ballots, $1,392. Warrant, $2.40. Annual town report books, $500. It'll be $1,795.98. I was asked the question, why only 1,200 ballots, and why the increase in the books? Because people are going to have more availability per this request a ballot. So we want to try to make sure that we have enough to cover everybody. 500 books, yeah, I think we'd be all right with that. The 1,200 ballots, wow, we only got like 400 or 500 people show up. Problem we have with that, folks, is if you have, we order 500 ballots. It's historically 400 people show up. 501 and 502 walk through the door. We don't have ballots for them because we have to order them. We can't just run up to the printer and print it off. The cards, they get read. So we have to account for all of the registered voters per election cycle. We don't have a choice. Because I'm not going to be the guy that says, sorry, we ran out of ballots, you can't vote this time. No, we're going to have enough. Preparation cost $1,000, ballot clerks $720, total cost of secret ballot referendum $7340.38. So it's roughly about $4,000, $5,000 increase over an open town meeting. There are pros and cons to both sides. That's it. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned the machine rental,
Yes.
2,000 something, and you said that would be 3 times a year?
It could be. Typically, we hold a June town meeting. So that would include our entire warrant articles, budgetary requests, and the local election. November, typically, we're doing something on a November, whether it's state or federal referendum. We're piggybacking on to that because we still have to have the ballot clerks and the polling there. We're already paying for that. So it works out good. We're getting a little bit of cost savings by doing just what we're doing right now with the November 4th ballot. If you remember, we had a referendum ballot vote in April 1st of this year. Doesn't happen all the time. Last couple of years, we've had one March, April. 2020, it was in February. Well, that we have to account for that. So typically, 3 times a year. I feel with the select board and the elections officer, if we plan 3 times a year, budgetary wise, we would be safe. Yes, ma'am.
That $2,060 per election? So if we do
Yes.
3, if we do 3 in 1 year,
It could be, yes.
$2,060 times
Correct.
3.
And that was from the Secretary of State's office. Now, the machine, we had looked at purchasing a machine. Ladies in the office took quite a bit of time trying to talk to these companies that provide ballot counting machines, okay? One of the good ones was a DS950. Good deal. $8,500 base price, but they wouldn't give us the information on the maintenance package, the programming, the licensing, how much the balloting was, how, any of the intricacies that would follow with it. So after several attempts, they contacted Secretary of State's office, and the state is looking at changing their machines. So this is pretty much what we're stuck with right now, if we're going to go to ballot. Yes, ma'am.
You're saying that we would have to run the machine 3 times. That means we have to pay the programming 3 times.
Correct.
So that $7,000 is for 1 round. If we're doing 3, then you're talking $21,000.
It could be.
Okay?
But no, not in its entirety, folks. Okay, because we're not going to be doing 1,200 7-page ballots.
All right.
We're going to have a 2-page ballot, which that price will change. That will lower exponentially. The 2060 to 370, that's it. Drop the 1795 off because we're not doing in a regular referendum March or November. There is no booklets. It's a draft ballot that would be drawn. The admin would print it off for review, and then we would finalize it and order the appropriate ballots. There would be 1,200 of them, but a 2-page ballot is actually 1 piece of paper from a mirror. So there will be a change in price So no, I would disagree that it would be 21,000.
Okay. But the preparation cost and the ballot clerks would be true.
The ballot clerks could be, we need to have that money in the bank. We go to a ballot machine, the machine's doing the counting, folks. But if the machine goes down, we still have to have the capability and having ballot clerks and counters at an arm's length. Hey, we got the money, we can pay you, we need to finalize this. Because if we don't, it null and voids that election process. We have to be able to do it. So, just really think about this as in a perspective. You have a 7-page, back-to-back, 25-article ballot. The machine does 100 of them, and you've got 400 that you have to hand count. That's going to take a minute. So, but we still have to have that contingency in the line item so that we can pay for that. Okay? So, if we had a super busy year with three of these deals in a fiscal year, I would guess around 15 million. That would be my guesstimate. So, any questions? Yes, ma'am.
How many, because this is my first year here, how many people actually show up to the town meetings for voting?
Okay, an open town meeting historically that we've done, average 125. Just say
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's fine.
Contentious years, 250. It's gonna be pretty serious.
Yeah.
I mean, a walking hot topic. Ordinances especially, that will draw on. But they'll make the motion move.
And you mentioned that 500 show up, about 500 for the ballot.
Historically, for regular ballot voting, 400. Average. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anything else? Next one we have, question 5. See if the town will vote to accept the amendment to the current short-term rental ordinance replacing the fire chief requirement for inspection and changing it to owner self-certification. What this is going to do with the recently passed short-term rental ordinance, currently, with the past, each short-term rental, the fire chief would have to inspect it and certify it for safety. In order to take that liability back off of the town, we'd like to place it on the owner of the short-term rental. They self-certify it. If there's anything that happens, they certify it. Minimizes town liability and frees up the fire chief to do other things. Any questions? Question number 6. See if the town will approve using $25,000 out of the building reserve account in anticipation of approval for the enterprise grant for the 26th fiscal year. Failure of grant approval will return funds to the building reserve account. The enterprise grant is the one that Mr. Regan has diligently worked and got us approved for this year and is working on next year all year. He's put a lot of time and effort into this. And the enterprise grant is for outside of the buildings. So, we already got 100 grand coming, correct, Joe?
Yeah.
So we could be looking at another 100 grand. So, out of the 100, we're putting up 25. This article will take it out of the capital improvement buildings and grounds account. If we don't get the grant, the money goes back to the pot. Stays here. The reason we're asking in November for next year is because we're not going to be able to ask if the November referendum question for this happens and we go to ballot with the time frame for that grant. We need to know if we're going to have the money now to buy in $25,000 because it's going to have the award stuff will happen mid-stroke of us getting warrant ballots for the $1 million. And spend that 25K, so we're not wasting all the time between now and April of next year. If you guys are gonna say, you know, the taxpayers are gonna say no anyway. Why waste the time anyway? So that's why we're asking for it now. Any questions? You shall.
Nice presentation, thank you.
Yes.
I'd like a question about the short-term rentals.
Yep.
I'm a little concerned, we actually spoken with legal about how that would dissolve the town's liability by having them self-certify.
He's asking if the town council had been spoken to about dissolving the fire chief's requirement and putting it on the owner.
Talking with the planning board attorney told us that there wouldn't be any liability. So there's no liability for the CEO to go in and inspect, there's no liability for the fire chief to go and inspect, plumbing inspector, electrical inspector, whatever. It's just, he said it just doesn't happen in the state of Maine. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to not have, you know, one person going in and checking some things and another person checking others. So our initial intent was to make sure that by revisiting the short-term rental, because as you know, it was defeated, revisiting that so that the fire chief knows how many people are in these locations. So when they come in and register, they have to say we have 2, 4, whatever the number in there. So when he goes to call there, he knows whether he's going for 2 people or he's going for 12 people. And then really kind of regenerated this was Freiberg came up with a new short-term rental ordinance, and it was strictly self-inspection by the owner. We thought it might be helpful if the fire chief at least went in, looked to see if there were smoke detectors and whatnot. But then we kind of seemed like we were talking at both sides of our mouth, saying the chief will do this, the owner will do that, and we decided, well, actually we didn't decide, we rewrote it and then presented it to the select board. It would just be one source of responsibility to the owner.
I just think that's a pretty ignorant assumption that they're going to be honest, because I've seen it for 20 years of medicine. Landlords do not make it self-support, but they are in economy, are relying on that on the safety of these buildings. And so we're to say that we're having liability. If some rental family dies, shit, we're going to see loss.
You can see a lawsuit for anything.
Right.
So you're not gonna, hold on, let me finish you talk, I'm gonna talk. So there could be a lawsuit for anything. We can't deal with that because anybody can sue anything for anything. We thought that this would be in the best interest of the town to put it on their shoulders. And part of the reason that we're doing that, and it's okay to disagree, you know, but we had a rock hard short-term rental that would have had inspections for building, electric, septic, everything. And you know what this town did? It voted it down. There's only probably 50 short-term rentals in this town. And you know what? Over 100 people, if I had that correct, or close to it, 90-some, what they did was they sided with the short-term rental owners and voted it down. So we put it on the shelf for a while. Then the fire chief came back to us and said, we don't have any idea who's in those buildings. So then we tried to do the best we can. Am I going to disagree with you that people aren't honest? Not at all. But we thought that this would be at least something that we would have on the books.
Right now, people don't even register for short-term rentals, correct?
Correct.
I think that's 17.
We're just starting to register now.
Yeah.
I have 8 right around me, and I'm on a private road, and I don't know where to get the information, but I've got people screaming up and down my road that don't belong there. 8 of them, and I'm right here. And they speed, we haven't had any problems with partying or anything like that, anybody getting out of line. But I'm concerned, we have 4 little girls that live in our neighborhood. And I don't if they're strangers, on a private road that I have to maintain, because if I don't, and they bottom up their car per state law, it's my liability. So I don't know where to go to find out about private roads.
I'll get some information.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, but I agree with you 100%. And that's why 3 years ago, we worked our butts off with the attorney to come up with something that would protect. And that was our whole goal. Number one, to protect the people around these short-term rentals. Because of incidents that have already happened here in town. And, the second thing was to make sure that the people who were renting them, that there was some type of control for them. It got shot down. To say we were disappointed is an understatement. But we had to go back and, try to come up with something at least for the fire. But I'm with you 100%.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Out on Moore Road, Aspen Circle, we got a rental right there. We constantly are picking up the trash. We are constantly picking up, having to deal with the noise. And these people come in, 10 o'clock at night, hauling a huge ass trailer, 2 o'clock in the morning, they start out chainsaws. How can you use taxes for a house that isn't finished to get abused by that?
So, we understand that. One thing that we found out when we started this 3 years ago, that it would be extremely foolish for us to ban it. If you asked me, I would ban it.
I asked her
And I'd be happy with that.
I asked
There wouldn't be
Tracy
any
on the
worries
phone this to you.
whatsoever. But you know what?
That's what he brought in tonight. And she's gonna send you the spec sheets.
So we came up with this very strict short-term rental, and we thought it was good. And, it was amazing, like when they say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, that's exactly what happened. And, so that's why we shelved it for a while, and part of it was because we were so disappointed. But the other thing was we figured, what are we going to do? And then the fire chief approached us, and that's how it ended up with what the voters approved actually last elections. But we wanted to correct that or change that stipulation in the fire chief. It must be, I always felt it was for everybody.
Thank you for your efforts.
You.